Hey, what's up, 745ers? Sky in the ceiling. How you feeling, Katie?
I'm feeling communicative. And you?
Communicative. I'm feeling very personable.
I like
No.
that. I'm really
Yes?
looking at our yeah, personable. That's good.
Okay. That's
I'm
that's
looking at
on
our
theme.
screen right now and I look very pale compared to you. And I have
Really,
issues, so that's a problem.
I was thinking I look kind of pale.
Really? I think I'm looking at like this and you look very dark and I don't at all. I need to get back out there, especially because it's sunny this next few weeks.
Yeah, it's probably because I went to the surf on Thursday or
I've
something.
been actually really scared of getting burned.
Yeah.
This entire thing was red, and the next morning I woke up and it was, the entire thing was like clear patched. It was so red, and I'm so scared of getting sunburnt because of my skin burned every time I touched it.
Put
Yeah,
some aloe vera on it.
I did, and I also did og for. I was running the whole thing, but yeah,
Yeah.
those are just
Cool.
some physical health issues. But today we're talking about not mental health issues,
Men-
but how we discuss mental health.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so today's episode is going to be about how to talk about mental health. And this
Mm.
episode was like kind of inspired by just like general thinking, but also recently on a panel, I spoke on a panel with other youth podcasters who talk about mental health. And the pretty much the whole point of the panel was like, what do you talk about, but also how do you talk about it?
Mm.
Because there are like some steps that you kind of have to take when you're talking about mental health, just to send the right message across and make sure that
Yeah.
everyone feels like included in the conversation.
100%. And Zach and I have had great, like, I think educational experience in this because our school is just very
Hmm.
focused on it. I know you guys have seen in our past episodes Mr. Zaba, who's a mental health advocate, and he's just like the guy for it. But I think we
Hmm.
really have someone to give background. Like, this podcast is a teen mental health podcast for a reason. So, yeah, do you want to kick
Hmm.
it off or do you want me to?
Sure. All right, well, I'll go back to just the first thing I said, that I think like inclusion is super important. You don't really want to exclude anybody or shed like a negative light on anybody too much when talking about negative, anything like negative, really. I think you also kind of have to consider everyone's perspective, because I think we've said it before, but I'll just like say it, because like everyone's personal experience is valid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone like has an opinion and like a truth. So I think that inclusion is like a really big part of the conversation.
100%. And to add on to that, like when we do, like I am on this media board, and it's mostly for youth, but we talk about like how inclusivity can look in media without it being like so overkill that's like DI shoved down your throat. It's my biggest egg personally, and like how to make
I agree with
experiences
that.
seem authentic, right? And not like adults who just don't understand, they're just like doing whatever. And I think the thing to
Hmm.
think about always is humility is so important, to think that you're not above anything, you're
Hmm.
not better than anybody, and that like all everyone struggles, whether you like to admit it or not. Not the wealthiest and the poorest, we all struggle, the happiest and the saddest, everyone goes through, valleys of up and down. And like understanding that we're all human, it's a completely different like mindset to open up your mind and like really truly learn to empathize and have compassion. It's so easy to be like, well, they're illegal immigrants, like illegal, but you have to like think about it like they're people too. Or even like, well, that kid's depressed because she's on social media every hour, and that's why she has all these problems.
Hmm.
100%. uh, yeah. um but yeah, like she has mental health issues because she's on TikTok all day long, and yeah, that could totally be true. But at the same time, like that's a person dealing with a person's like things. Like it doesn't really
Hmm.
matter what caused it. You have to like empathize, even if you're like, well, I'm not on social media, or I don't do this, I don't smoke, so I don't have this problem. But you still have to empathize, and like it's really hard to do. Like I even find myself tripping up when like we're going through all these like scripts of possible movies, and I'm just like, oh, that person has this issue because of why are we including
Hmm.
this? But it's important.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I think honestly we shouldn't overlook the why behind things. Like, why is someone scrolling on social media for hours on end? I
Right.
don't think someone normally just does that. I mean, like, I think it can happen to an average person, but I also think that's because the average person is,
Right.
stressed out.
Yeah. That's I
I
love what you
think
said
that,
that going behind the action. It's not just about like
yeah,
what they're doing, it's why are they doing it. Yeah.
exactly. Because I mean, also like a lot of these very like I guess like addictive things are and like measures are coping mechanisms in themselves,
Mhm.
you know? So
100%.
we can't blame someone for their own coping mechanism because that's just like that's how they cope, regardless if it's like healthy or not for them. We don't want to like make them feel worse about the only ways that they know how to cope.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, so there's that side of like the why and the inclusivity, but there's also the like research and statistical side of talking about mental health as well. I enjoy this side about talking about mental health, specifically like when I can pull things from books I've read or things stats I've learned in class, because they're fun to kind of just slip in like general conversation, but
Mhm.
also at the same time, like when you're talking about like mental health, like it's not very like it's not like a statistical conversation. Like I would say
Right.
like global warming is a bit more, or not even global warming, but like um I don't know. Some other issues are more like statistical, like maybe like economical issues, like the market is down, so and such. Da, 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 da. Global warming could be statistical in the sense that the temperature is rising this much. Da, da, da. This many polar bears are getting displaced. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And you can add stats for mental health, but I think that to really understand and like talk about it, you have to really talk more about like the experience behind things and like
Humanize the
what.
numbers is like the phrase
Exactly.
they
I
use.
love
Yeah.
I love that word, humanize. You have to humanize it because that's kind of the only way people can like better relate to it.
Yeah. I think the numbers game is very important though because you hear the big number that it is and you're
Hmm.
really taken aback. And also a lot of people don't believe without stats. Like I know like a lot of older generations, like for example my mom, like without stats and like scientific proof, like it seems like,
Hmm.
oh, that's just because they're blah blah blah, or that's just because like they weren't raised blah blah blah. And like believe what you want to believe. But at the same time, like this is like a worldly problem. Like this is not like a so those people.
Hmm.
Please, like I think the way when you talk about it, you don't remove yourself. What do they say? Ethos, like you
Hmm.
are like when you do ethos and like persuasion or whatever, you're talking about like it's a us problem, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
like a you need medical drugs for your mental health. It's like we need a whole new mental health like vocabulary. Like we all need this because it's a everybody problem. Because humility again, don't think it couldn't happen to you. It's
Mm.
actually hilarious when like people are like, not me though, not me. That would never happen to
Yeah.
me because it
No,
could so happen to you.
I 100% love that point. I think that I'm really glad that you brought up like the ethos within it.
Hmm.
And also like yeah, I 100% agree that the stats are super important, especially like for like in a persuasion perspective. But like yeah, exactly, like this is not a them problem, it's a us problem. Not only because like I mean some others like I mean we're all struggling. I mean like we're not all struggling, but yeah, everyone deals with like mental health
Life, yeah.
challenges every day, and some are dealing with it better than others, but also like some people have it more severe than others, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't like empathize with them and also like understand their background and perspective. That also being said is like I think that personal narrative is super like important when talking about mental health. I think Katie and I do this a lot, and I think we've
Mm,
gotten like pretty decent at it, where it's like when you're telling like a story or something, like you, especially with mental health, you get to like consider each perspective.
mm,
You get to understand why everyone's feeling this way, their thought process, and
absolutely.
just how all the emotions are kind of bouncing off each other. And so honestly, like the it's like the three scoops of ice cream. You have like the just like the general like knowledge, you have the research and the stats, and then you have like the personal story, and then that's your little kid holding his
Perfect.
ice cream cone.
Yeah, the perfect combination. And
Hmm.
all to that is like the point in doing all this so much is because the stigma around because we say challenge, but for some reason the word holds different than when I say I'm having a physical health challenge, right? It's like
Mm.
you really think, like a lot of people will say, like for example, like older generations, my parents, I broke my thumb. That wasn't technically like a you fault, like that just happened because I mean scientifically, yeah, your bones were not locked in as, but they couldn't be, right? They don't have that ability, and so, but no one goes, oh, that's your fault. How dare you break your thumb and like that? You're crazy. And we should think about it the same way in mental health. It's not like you did this to yourself. I mean, maybe, but it's mostly like we have to remove the fact that it's any different and deserves all the same level of respect and almost like less hatred for. I don't know how what word you would use to describe that, but like the blame or the idea that they did this to themselves or like it's uncontrollable, like that's really hard for me. And I love what the conversation around this is about, that it's the exact same as a physical health issue. If you have a
Mm.
chemical imbalance, you just have it. Like it's literally a physical thing that results in like a mental health issue, but it's a physical thing that's in your body that you, like when people say like, oh, I have ADHD, and they're like, oh, that's too much screen time. You're on your iPad too much. You were raised with your iPad too much. No, they actually like have a chemical imbalance. Like, their hormones are just not doing it for them, and that's a
Mm.
physical thing. So I, when we talk about stats, I love including like actual physical health things that are happening inside your body to show you that like it's not like hallucinations or what they used to call like women like hysteria. It's not like they're just crazy and they've become witches. They actually have like something physically wrong with them, and now that we know so much about like how hormones work and your neurons do this and your brain does that and all these things, stress makes your lungs do blah blah blah. Like now that we know all this scientific information, it's so good that we're able to back up our like fight for no more stigma with all this like actual physical health stuff that people are so like welcoming of. They should be welcoming of that stuff.
That was great. Yeah. Also, like the thing is, if someone breaks their thumb, you can see that it's broken, right? And so it's
Yeah.
easier to like sympathize or empathize with it. You
Yes.
can't see what's going on in someone's head. You can see sort of how
Mm.
it's reflected maybe on their body or maybe
Yeah.
like their style, actions, behavior, whatever, but you can't see what's going on physically in their brain.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I mean, there's like it's a reason, there's a reason why we call it mental health challenges and not like mental health struggles or like broken mental health, you know? It's like
Yeah.
it's a challenge because, you know, lots of people deal with it, but you can overcome it, you know? When you
Mm-hmm.
say challenge, it there's a sense of it's a block, it's like sort of a thing we face, but we can come over it. When you say like mental health struggle, it sort of seems like something that was just like, you know, placed upon you that you're like stuck with forever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of that lingo switch, just the little words that like we use hold like so much more meaning if we just like change them
Yeah,
into a
absolutely.
more like inclusive, positive manner.
Yeah.
So
That's a that
yeah.
was a great way of putting it. That's how we talk about mental health. That's how we strive to. No one's perfect and we're all learning, but like
Hmm.
those are our key points on how we do it.
Yeah, that
Awesome.
was great.
So hope you learned something and you can apply it in
Yeah,
your own life. Share it with others to apply in theirs, and we'll keep on keeping on.
keep and also call out each other if you're like, hey
Yeah.
man, that's not very like inclusive or positive. Then be like,
Keep
yeah,
everyone accountable. Accountability is so important.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right, keep
absolutely.
on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.